Hello, everyone. Today, I'd like to take you on a journey through the life and ideas of Simone de Beauvoir, a pioneering French intellectual whose work reshaped philosophy and feminist thought in the 20th century. Simone de Beauvoir was born in 1908 in Paris, into a middle-class family that valued education and intellectual pursuits. From an early age, she was exposed to literature and ideas that would eventually guide her toward a lifelong commitment to questioning society's assumptions about gender, freedom, and ethics. Her early academic promise led her to the Sorbonne, where she studied philosophy. It was during these formative years that de Beauvoir encountered the existentialist ideas that would later dominate her work. But even as she immersed herself in the study of philosophy, she was already beginning to question the constraints placed on women in society. One of the most significant influences on de Beauvoir's intellectual life was her lifelong partnership with Jean-Paul Sartre. The two met while studying at the Sorbonne and soon forged a bond that was both personal and philosophical. Together, they helped shape and popularize existentialism, a philosophy that emphasizes individual freedom, responsibility, and the necessity of creating one's own meaning in a seemingly indifferent universe. For de Beauvoir, existentialism was not just an abstract set of ideas. It was a way to challenge the traditional roles that society had imposed, particularly on women. She argued that freedom was a fundamental human condition, yet recognized that social and cultural barriers often limited the freedom of many, especially women. Simone de Beauvoir's most famous work, The Second Sex, published in 1949, is widely regarded as a foundational text in feminist philosophy. In this groundbreaking work, she analyzed the historical, social, and existential dimensions of women's oppression. De Beauvoir famously declared that one is not born, but rather becomes a woman, highlighting that many of the differences between men and women are not innate, but are instead the product of cultural conditioning. In The Second Sex, de Beauvoir explored how women had been relegated to the status of other in a society that defined itself through male experiences and perspectives. She argued that this othering was a deliberate process, one that limited women's opportunities for self-definition and freedom. Her call for women to break free from these imposed roles resonated deeply and sparked debates that continue to influence feminist theory today. At the heart of de Beauvoir's philosophy was the concept of freedom. Like other existentialists, she believed that human beings are condemned to be free. That is, we are responsible for our own choices in an indifferent universe. However, de Beauvoir extended this idea by examining how social structures, particularly patriarchy, impede women's ability to exercise their freedom fully. She challenged the notion that traditional gender roles were natural or inevitable. Instead, she posited that these roles were socially constructed narratives that constrained women and limited their possibilities. Her insistence on the need for authenticity, responsibility, and self-determination remains a cornerstone of feminist ethics and has inspired countless individuals to challenge oppressive norms. While The Second Sex is de Beauvoir's most celebrated work, her contributions extend to novels, memoirs, essays, and even travel writings. Her literary works often blurred the lines between fiction and philosophy, offering insights into the human condition through both narrative and critical analysis. In her memoirs, de Beauvoir provided a vivid account of her intellectual and personal evolution. Her writings captured not only the spirit of existentialism, but also the struggles and triumphs of a woman navigating a world dominated by male authority. Through her literary style and intellectual rigor, she communicated complex ideas in ways that reached beyond academic circles, influencing public discourse and feminist activism around the world. Beyond her writing, Simone de Beauvoir was an active participant in social and political debates. She was involved in various causes, from advocating for women's rights to engaging in political activism during turbulent times in French society. Her fearless critique of societal norms and her insistence on living authentically resonated with many, helping to pave the way for the second-wave feminist movement in the 1960s and 1970s. Her work encouraged women to reclaim their identities and assert their rights as full human beings. By questioning the established order and challenging the structures that limited women's freedoms, de Beauvoir left a lasting mark on both philosophy and feminist thought. Today, her ideas continue to be studied, debated, and celebrated by scholars and activists around the globe. In conclusion, Simone de Beauvoir was not just a philosopher or a writer. She was a revolutionary thinker who dared to question the status quo. Her incisive critiques of gender roles and her unwavering commitment to the idea of freedom have had a profound and enduring impact on the way we understand ourselves and our society. As we reflect on her legacy, we are reminded that the struggle for genuine freedom and equality is ongoing. De Beauvoir's work challenges us to examine our own lives, to question societal norms, and to strive for a world where every individual has the opportunity to define themselves. In a time when discussions about gender, identity, and equality remain as relevant as ever, her insights continue to offer guidance and inspiration. Thank you for joining me on this brief exploration of Simone de Beauvoir's life and ideas. I hope her example inspires you to think critically about the world around you and to recognize the power of ideas in shaping a more just and equitable society.